Austin, we are back, and this is Mr. Joe MC, and as promised, we've got another fantastic vendor for you folks. We've got Paul Quinzi here, and his face on his cards is his little dog back here. Where is he? Capone. Yep. So you probably won't be hearing too much from Capone. He's kind of laid back. He's like, chilling out, but he's a great-looking dog, let me tell you. It's on the back of his business card, so you must love them, I'll tell you, folks. Paul, there's a lot of law offices out there, lawyers all over the place. Some people say too many lawyers. What makes your law firm different than most of the rest of them out there?
Well, I practice what people usually call criminal defense. I prefer the term innocence defense because my clients are not ever, they're not criminals unless they've been proven guilty in a court of law. And the main focus of my practice is helping people get their records sealed or expunged, which means to have all the government records that exist about their case completely destroyed or sealed from the general public.
Oh, okay. So can anybody get their records expunged?
Well, expunction is not available for things that someone was convicted of. If you have a conviction, then that's the kind of thing they intend to stay on your record. But if your case was dismissed or you're found not guilty, or if you did a certain kind of probation called deferred adjudication probation, then those are the kind of things that you can get expunged, or in the case of deferred adjudication, you can get sealed.
Okay.
Now, just in the last year, Texas has a new law that says that for certain nonviolent misdemeanors, you can get those things sealed, but that's only for a specific set of circumstances, and it's only for cases that happened after 2015.
Okay. So those non-convictions, is that like 100% you can get their records sealed?
Well, it can be sealed if they were never found guilty. Then they can be expunged if the case was dismissed without any kind of probation. And expunged means that the records are completely destroyed. Now, when we're talking about sealing records, we're talking about what's called in Texas an order of non-disclosure. And the order of non-disclosure, the judge orders that the records would be sealed from the general public. So the information would still be available to law enforcement and certain licensing agencies, but the general public would not have that information. And so it has the effect of taking that out of like private background check companies.
Okay, great. Well, obviously this gentleman knows what he's talking about, folks. You know, it's crazy to me because most folks think, you're not guilty, so nothing's on your records, and if you had mug shots, they're all gone. And this is amazing to me. They're not. I mean, wow, I never knew a service existed like this.
Well, and I'll tell you, a lot of times when somebody is in court, they hear from their lawyer, sign this and it's not going to be on your record. Even sometimes the judge says, with this kind of a disposition, it's not going to be on your record. Well, what they mean is you're not going to have a conviction on your record. But all the government records still exist and can be, bought and sold or just obtained by an open records request unless you get the information to be ordered non-public by expunction or non-disclosure.
So for instance, if you're applying for a government job and they do their background checks and you've been found innocent, this stuff can really show up? They can actually get to this?
It can be, unless it's expunged. Because, again, just the general rule is all government records are public unless you do something to make them non-public. And there are good reasons for that, but there's not a good reason to do it to someone who has never been found guilty in a court of law. So under our Constitution, they're presumed innocent.
Wow, okay. Is this a long, drawn-out process? How long does it normally take you to get somebody's records?
It does take some time. Now, it usually takes about 3 months from when someone hires me to where the judge signs on the dotted line. But what is very important in the service that I offer is to follow up with law enforcement agencies and make sure they're actually following the judge's order. So that's something that I do that hardly any other attorneys do in terms of making sure that those agencies comply with the order, and that's very important to do so that so you have a paper trail showing that everybody who was ordered to comply with the expunction actually was served with it and actually followed the judge's order.
That makes sense, especially in government bureaucracies, keeping the people honest and making sure that they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. Absolutely. Paul, do you have anything stand out as far as one of your clients, what you did for them, and the results?
I just had a client text me a couple of weeks ago who was applying for a job and he wasn't thinking he was going to get it. But after we did the expunction, he texted me back and with a picture of his new work truck and with telling me what his new salary was, which was substantial, and you know, he did a lot of stuff to get that job on his own, but he told me it would not have happened if I hadn't gotten his record cleared.
Wow.
So those kind of stories are my favorite, where I hear back from somebody that something that I've done has actually benefited them.
Wow. So when somebody does a background check, do they know that the record is expunged? Do they know that, or is it just it shows nothing?
No, if the record is expunged thoroughly and properly, there is no record of the arrest or even the expunction that will show up on the background check. Those records are completely destroyed.
And even up to the highest level, like if the government's checking and all that?
Exactly. So the way it works here in Texas is that one of the agencies that the judge orders to expunge the records is the Department of Public Safety. So DPS runs what's called the Texas Crime Information Center, and the FBI runs the National Crime Information Center. So the FBI's policy has always been that when they get the request from DPS that the information has been expunged, then even the FBI takes it off of the National Crime Information Center, basically your federal rap sheet.
Wow.
So it will be expunged even at the federal level.
Wow. Well, you heard it here first, Austin. I didn't even know that your records were still there. I thought they were gone. I mean, if you're innocent, your records are gone. Apparently, that's not the case. You heard it from Paul. Paul, how can folks get in touch with you if they want to find out more about your services?
Well, my website is sealyourrecord.com, just spelled out, sealyourrecord.com, or they can give me a call here in Austin. My number is 512-535-1081.
Great. Thank you for your time, Paul. Thank you very much. Great information. I guess mind-blowing information for a lot of our folks out there. Again, thank you for your time, Paul.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
And thank you, Austin, for listening.